In lesson 6-8A, two-digit divisors, we're going to work in our yellow Unit 6 packet. This is one of those Minnesota Essentials that has been added, and you will not find it in your math journal. So go ahead and open up your yellow packet. It's after all of the regular lessons. So you're actually going to go past Homelink 613 and look for lesson 6-8A. 6-8A. It's 3 pages from the back of the packet. We're going to start with the page on the left, actually lesson 6-7, just to review Venn diagrams. At the top, it says there are 200 girls at Washington Elementary School. 30 girls are on the track team, 38 girls are on the basketball team, and 8 girls are on both teams. The first thing we need to do is to put labels in oval A and B. So we know that there's a track team, and we know there's a basketball team. I'm going to take some of this information, though. I know there's 30 girls on the track team, 38 on the basketball team, and 8 are on both teams. 8 are on both teams. The easiest one to probably fill in first is the 8 that are on both teams, that play both basketball and are on track. So if I know there's 30 girls on the track team, I've already accounted for 8 of them because 8 is in the center part where the ovals or the circles intersect. So if I go ahead, I should have 22 that are just in track. Now let's do that same thing for basketball. We know there's 38 girls in the basketball team, and 8 have already been accounted for in the center. So how many do we have over here? 30. So let's see if that seems right. Let's go ahead and take a look. 30 girls are in the track team. 22 plus 8 is 30. 38 are on the basketball team. Here's 8 on the basketball team and 30 on the basketball. How many girls are on one team but not both? Well, that would include 22 and 30. 22 plus 30 will give us 52 girls that are on one team but not on both. And the last question that is cut off on mine says, how many girls are on the track team but not on the basketball team? And we have 30. All right, let's now actually go ahead and get into lesson 6-8A. Again, this is in your yellow packet. We have been working on partial quotients. We're going to continue, but today we're going to continue with two-digit divisors. Estimate, write a number model to represent the problem, and then use partial quotients to solve. So the first thing I'm going to do is read the problem. Number 1, the teacher divided 196 note cards evenly among 14 students. How many note cards did each student get? I'm going to go ahead and round 196 to 200. And 14, I will make 10. 4 less, let it rest. This 0 cancels out this 0, and 20 divided by 1 is 20. So each student will get about 20 note cards. Now let's go ahead and write that number model with the exact amount. 196 note cards divided among 14 students. And put an N for note card. Over along the side, not writing too large, I'm going to take 196 and divide it by 14 students. Can I give at least each of those 14 students 10 note cards? Are there at least 10 groups? 10 times 14 would be 140. You bet. So 14 times 1 is 14 with a 0 behind it. Go ahead and subtract. Can I do another 10 groups? Well, 10 times 14 would be 140, and I only have 56 left. So I'm going to choose a number now that's easy for me to do in my head, and I can multiply or double a number. So I'm going to say there's at least 2 more note cards I can give each of the 14 students, because 14 doubled is 28. Double 4 and double 2. Go ahead and subtract. Notice something? I can do another 2 note cards to each of the 14 students because 14 doubled, or 14 times 2 is 28. So go ahead and subtract. Now I'm going to add these numbers together on the side. 10 plus 2 is 14. So each student will get 14 note cards. Are there any cards left over? No, there are no cards left over. Let's move on to number 2. There are 652 students at a school. The auditorium has rows with 22 seats each. How many rows would be completely filled if all of the students attend an assembly? So let's go ahead and start with an estimate. I'm going to take 660 and I'm going to divide that by 20. 4 or less, let it rest. I'm going to make that 20 because these two cancel out 0, and 66 divided by 2, or 66 divided in half, is 33. So there should be about 33 rows filled. Now let's move over to the side again. 652 divided by 22 kids in a row. Now, would at least 10 rows of 22 students be filled? 10 times 22 is 220. You bet. So I'm going to write 10 over here. 22 times 10 is 220. Go ahead and subtract. 2 minus 0 is 2. 5 minus 2 is 3. 6 minus 2 is 4. Can I do 10 more rows of 22 students? Well, 10 times 22 is 220. I sure can. Go ahead and subtract. Can I do 10 more groups of 22? Wow, I can almost do it, but I cannot quite. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and multiply. You can take a number, you could take it by 2 again. 2 times 2 is 44. It just will take you a little bit longer. Go ahead and subtract. Can I do it 2 more times? Absolutely. Maybe 3. What about 3? Or even 4? It's easy to multiply 2 times 4 and 2 times 4, so let's do it 4 times. 22 times 4, well, 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 2 is 8, and now I can subtract. 8 minus 8 is 0. 16 minus 8 is 8. Can I do it another 4 times? Not quite, because 22 times 4 was 88, and I only have 80 left. So let's try one less. 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 2 is 6. Go ahead and subtract. 10 minus 6 is 4. 7 minus 6 is 1. So I forgot to write the number model. Let me go back. 652 divided by 22 equals R for rows. How many rows? Well, let's add them up. 10 plus 10 is 20. Plus 2 is 22. 22 plus 4 is 26. 26 plus 3 is 29. There will be 29 rows completely filled. And how many students will be left in the next row? 14. So this double-digit or 2-digit divisor just takes a little bit longer, so you need to be very careful with your subtraction so that you're not making mistakes. All right, let's continue on the next page. We're not going to do number 3 for today, okay? We're going to just skip on to number 4. Number 4, Sophia was playing with a set of 743 blocks. She decided to arrange them in stacks of 12. How many stacks did Sophia make? Well, let's go ahead and let's make 743, let's make that 750. And then let's just round 12 to 10, because I can do that pretty easy. This 0 cancels out this 0, and 75 divided by 1 is 75 stacks. Then let's go ahead and take 743 divided by 12. Gives me S for stacks. Let's go ahead and set this problem up over on the side. 743 blocks divided into stacks of 12. So here we go. This is where you need to know those facts, those 12s, because if I look at these first two numbers and the first two numbers in the dividend, it would tell me about how many times 12 goes into 74, and that will give me a good estimate. So let's say we know 12 times 6 is 72, so let's take not just 6, but 60. Well, you should know your 12. So 12 times 6 is 72 with a 0 behind it. See how that shortened up our steps? We could have done 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 times. That would have taken an awful lot of time and paper. So if you kind of look at these first two, that will give you an estimate. So now go ahead and subtract. I have 23 left. Well, it can go in there one more time. 2 times would be 24, just a little bit too much. Go ahead and subtract. 3 minus 2 is 1, and 2 minus 1 is 1. So I'm going to go ahead and add up 60 plus 1 is, she can make 61 stacks. And how many will be left over? 11 blocks will be left over. One more problem. Number 5, Crystal Water Company ships boxes that hold 24 bottles. How many boxes are needed for 4,872? Woo! Bottles of water, that's a lot. Let's go ahead and make that 4,800. Let me write with a different color here. Divided by 20. This 0 cancels out this 0. 48 divided in half. Well, half of 4 is 2 and half of 8 is 4 with 1 0 behind. So our answer should be close to 240. That will also help you estimate. So if you know the answer is 240 or somewhere near that, we can go ahead and divide by 100 to begin with. So let's take the 4,872 bottles of water divided by 24. Now again, my answer is going to be in the 200s. So I'm going to start with 100. 100 times 24 is 2,400. Now if I started by tens and my answer is going to be near 240, that's a lot of subtracting and a lot of frustration. Let's go ahead and subtract. 2 minus 0 is 2. 7 minus 0 is 7. 8 minus 4 is 4, and 4 minus 2 is 2. I know I can do it another 100 times because my answer is near 200. Another 100 times would again be 2,400, excuse me. 2, 7 minus 0 is 7. And now, can I do it 10 more times? Well, 24 times 10 would be 240. So no, I cannot. So I'm going to go ahead and say, let's try it 2 times because I can double things pretty easily. 24 doubled, or 24 times 2 is 48. And look, it goes one more time. So the number model, let me go ahead and rewrite that. The number model is 4,872 divided by 24 gives me maybe a W for water bottles. The answer is 100 plus 100 plus 2 plus 1. 203. How many bottles are left over? 0. Now imagine literally if I had to start by tens. That problem would have gone on forever and ever and ever. So use your estimate. My answer was close to 75. That helped me make a better estimate when I started over here. My answer should be close to 30. So I could have maybe even started with 20 over here. So just be careful and use that estimate to help you out. That's the end of it. Go ahead and continue the rest of your work.